Hey everyone, welcome back to my Georgia garden. It is another garden cleanup day here in July, and I am going to be working in my breakfast garden where things have gotten really overgrown. Here's my breakfast garden in July. I typically eat my breakfast and have my coffee at our breakfast table inside this window here, so that's why this is named my breakfast garden. This is what I look out at every morning when I'm having my coffee, and it's just a wonderful habitat for birds and pollinators. I love looking out and seeing all of the color throughout the season, and the hummingbirds come into our feeder here, and the birds often use my bird baths. I have one over here and a lower one tucked in the corner back here. This garden bed just has a natural look to it. It's meant to be a space for pollinators and wildlife to enjoy. It's just really meant to be a beautiful space to look at from the inside and out. But today is going to be all about cutting back perennials and tidying up the plants that have become a little bit overgrown, and that will include cleaning up my walkway here. I can't really get through here. It just needs to be cleaned up a good bit, so that will be a big part of this. Okay, so I want to look at the pathway from this angle so you can really see what I mean about the pathway just being unusable at this time. I got weeds growing up in the path. You can see those here. A few salvia seedlings. This looks like my annual summer jewel salvia. I'll typically get a few of these popping up here and there throughout the season. And then of course I have foot tall weeds here and there. And then my Supertunias back here are just really overgrown at this point and need some control. This is Supertunia Vista Jazzberry. I absolutely love this plant. It's just beautiful and it really pairs nicely with so many other colors in your garden. I definitely want to plant this one more in the future. Supertunias are known for being heavy feeders, but I actually don't use any water-soluble fertilizer on these, and I have not fertilized or pruned these since I put them in the ground back in April. You can just see still how beautiful it looks. It's just doing wonderful. When you give Supertunias fertilizer, they will often look like just a carpet of pink with no green in between. But I kind of prefer this natural look better. It's just really pretty, and I just love just the contrast between the green and the pink. And it goes so well with my style of gardening. This is just a look that I really enjoy. It looks natural and calming. I just love it. I think that I'm definitely going to be planting more of this in the future. And so all I need to do today is just give it a little bit of a cutback. And just so you have an idea, this is 3 plants. I planted one over here, one here, and one back here. So we're just going to clean this up a little bit, give it a little bit of a haircut so I can get my pathway back, and then we'll see how it looks. I had also planted a Videns in here, but it looks like it has a lot of spider mite damage and it's just getting overrun by the Supertunias, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out. The Supertunias are also crowding one of my dwarf hydrangeas, so I want to go ahead and cut this back off the shrub a little bit too. I pruned a good bit around this Hydrangea paniculata. This is from Proven Winners. I think this is tiny quickfire. I definitely didn't want the petunias to be growing on top of it, so I just wanted to give it a little bit of breathing room. The petunias underneath, they look really colorful on the outside, but they're very stretched on the inside. See all this? There's just no leaves or anything down here. They definitely are going to benefit from this cutback. And I have a phlox under here that was just completely swallowed by the Supertunias. So, oh my goodness. And there's a weed growing right up inside this phlox as well. I do see a few beautyberry volunteers as well. And I typically get that every year. So I don't have enough space for all of them, so I definitely need to remove a few of those. Okay, so here's what the pathway looks like now. I got all the weeds out of the path here, and then I pruned back the Supertunias pretty significantly. They are vistas, so they get to be about 3 feet wide, and these were just so overgrown that there are actually barely any leaves on the ones over here. This one looks better, but still you can see I had to cut it back so much that it's just really thin. Doesn't look great right now. I think I'm going to give them some slow release fertilizer, just whatever I have on hand, and see if we can get these to last through the end of the season. I have a Southern Living carex grass next to it and a Joe Pye weed. This is also a Tiny Wine 9 bark. So this is a phlox, part of the opening act series from Proven Winners, and it just got completely swallowed by the Supertunias, so it hasn't grown at all this season. And then as I go around this hydrangea, you can just see that the Supertunias are pretty much just stems at this point. I mean, look at this. Here's a different angle. You saw me cutting back this Salvia greggii right here, just trying to shape it up a little bit. This will bloom more in the fall once the nighttime temperatures start to lower. I also have a couple of the Summer Jewels Salvia seedlings along the edge of the pathway here. I think I'm going to leave this one in place. This one probably needs to be moved. And I also started cutting back some of my Veronica. They start to look like this time of year. Their blooms are just spent, so this is a great time to give it a cutback, and then when I do, it'll encourage a lot of new growth at the base of the plant. Here's some Veronica that I cut back a while ago, and you can just see how full and lush it is at the base of the plant. So that's what I'm going for with these over here. And I'm going to clean up some of this Bermuda grass, trying to get in the bed as well. Then I'm going to come through with a shovel just to try to clean up this edge just a little bit. See if I can get some of these Bermuda runners and roots out of here. I'm just going to start on the left and keep pruning down the line here. Starting with my Veronica. There's a breeze this morning, which feels really nice. Most of these are spent blooms, so I don't really have anything to leave for the pollinators, but I do have some other Veronicas that are still in full bloom, so they still have some of these to use. Now I'm just doing a little bit of deadheading on these salvias. This dwarf butterfly bush is mostly spent blooms now. I don't see many flowers, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit of a trim and get rid of these spent blooms. Okay, I think that looks a lot better now, so I'm going to go ahead and prune back this saucy red salvia as well. Okay. This one doesn't need a whole lot today. All right, I got everything cleaned up along the edge of my breakfast garden bed here, and that included trimming back the saucy red salvia here and the butterfly bush and a few of the salvias along the edge here. I also relocated one of the salvia seedlings that was in my pathway, and I added it over here next to my hydrangea. I'll need to come back and take off the flowers just because it's going to be a little bit stressed after being dug up in the middle of July. So, and I probably damaged some of those roots in the process. So, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what this would look like. I'm going to have some red salvias on both sides of this hydrangea right here, which I think will be really pretty. Moving along, I cut back all my Veronica along the edge here and did pull out some of the Bermuda grass to just try to clean up this edge here. So that's looking a lot better now. I still have to do a little bit of reshaping right here to get this curve back. And let's see, I have some Kufia looking great. These are really drought tolerant. Love those. This one should get a little bit more sun now, so that should be really pretty here in a few weeks. I decided to move one of my containers that had agara in it over here into this spot. I'm not sure if these Supertunias are going to come back, especially since they don't have many leaves right now. So I'm hoping that that'll just add a pop of color in this space, whether these come back or not. It's just nice to have that there. And so that's really pretty. Just having those lovely pink flowers goes great with the magenta. I love that. And over here, looking great. I just need to come back with the blower and maybe the hose, just try to clean up these stones a little bit. And I've actually been debating whether I should keep this stone pathway or if I should just add wood chips or a cypress mulch instead, just for a more natural look, because the mulch does become kind of thin in between and then the weeds start to grow up in between the stones. So I haven't decided what is best, but let me know in the comments what you think. I'll show you what these look like when they're cleaned up, but I can just keep these stones here, or I can come back in with a wood chip type material like this cypress mulch. This would add a little bit of contrast next to the brown mulch that I have in the flower bed, but I'm just not sure what's best for this spot. I would love to know what you guys think, so let me know whether you think I should keep the stone pathway or swap it out for some natural looking mulch. And the last thing I'll do before I get the whole bed watered is go ahead and try to stake up a couple of these Veronicas. I came back in the evening with some brown mulch to finish the look, and I think my breakfast garden is looking great. And I can't wait for my perennials to flush back out with new flowers for the pollinators in the next few weeks. I also cleaned up the bed edge at our porch, and I ended up picking up a few of these stones where the ground had settled a bit, filling them back in, and then replacing them. After I replace a stone, I come back with some fresh mulch just to finish the look, and the pathway is starting to look great. All right, so now that my pathway is back and things are a little more cleaned up, I am going to go inside, take a break, and enjoy the rest of my day. It feels so good to come out in the morning and get a little bit of work done in the garden. And I will finish the other side of my breakfast garden next. Have a great day. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.